Welcome to Leap Forward with Riesterer Schnell. I'm Chad Staudinger, the moderator today. Very happy to be here at Grotegut Dairy Farm. For our loyal listeners, you might hear some noise in the background. That's our lovely girls here playing with the headlocks, our cows standing behind us, so just be aware you might hear that noise. I'm here today with our Forage Product Specialist, Todd Vogel. Many of you know Todd. And we're super excited to kick off June Dairy Month here and celebrate what we do. So one of the things that I'd like to touch on first, Todd, is talking a little bit about the importance of dairy to our local area. So what do you see? What's your opinion of that?
Being at Riesterer Schnell for 16 years, I've really gotten to see the diversity of our customer base along basically with Wisconsin agriculture, which the vegetables and potato industry is huge, but also the dairy industry. And today we're entering June Dairy Month here and basically celebrating our dairy farmers and everything they do for us.
Definitely. So we're located near Manitowoc, Wisconsin today, so northeast Wisconsin, close to one of our Chilton Riesterer Schnell location. And when you think about this area in particular, you know, I always laugh in the fall if you travel across the state or you travel to other parts of the Midwest, and most of the corn crop is harvested for grain corn, right?
Yeah.
You travel through this area the end of September, early October, what do you see in cornfields?
All the corn is gone and there's semis following choppers out there.
Exactly. So the dairy industry is hugely important to this geographical area in terms of the infrastructure, the jobs it creates in our area. You think all the way from the manure haulers through to the cheese processors and everyone that's involved. There's a ton of people that really benefit from the dairy industry in this area.
Yeah, it's unreal the economic value that the dairy industry brings to Wisconsin and how many hands are involved. And I mean, even within our dealership, we know how many people we've got. You know, there's pushing 400 employees, and we're just kind of one piece of the puzzle for supporting these dairy farms out there.
Exactly. When it comes to agribusinesses in this area, and it varies across the state, but in this area, dairy is probably the largest industry that impacts agribusiness. So it's hugely important. So beyond that, Todd, let's talk a little bit about Riesterer Schnell specifically. You've been here 16 years, is that correct?
Yep.
And loved every one of those years, right?
Every day.
Living the dream.
Yes, helping the farmers.
So in those 16 years, how do you feel dairy has impacted Riesterer Schnell as a business?
It's a huge part of our business, large customer base. The dairy industry is using some of the largest machines that we sell as a dealership. The forage harvesters, you know, being the biggest, 1,000 horsepower machines, which has really evolved because when I started here, it was primarily around those 500 to 600 horsepower machines.
Sure.
And today, you know, we're pushing 1,000 horsepower, and that seems to be our most popular size.
Right, okay. So beyond forage harvesters, we sell a multitude of different products that help farmers basically plant the crop, right? From all the way from planting the crop to positioning it for harvest, whether it be mergers, you know, to position the crop, mowers to knock it down, and then the harvesting equipment beyond that. So the full lineup from start to finish basically affects us at Riesterer.
We love to call it on the dairy side, seed to feed. We're going to give you the solution from everything in between and helping you plant that seed and then helping you harvest off the crop to produce this feed here for all the cows that we support in our area.
Okay. So when we talk about what Riesterer Schnell does specifically, you think about, when people think about a dealership, a John Deere dealership, they're probably thinking you sell equipment, okay?
Yeah.
When it comes to the dairy farm specifically and you and your role in working with forage harvesting equipment, what are some of the things, how can we make an impact? How would we affect milk production on this farm? Can you go through some of that with me?
Yeah, definitely. A big part of our machine is keeping that thing, keeping the maintenance up, keeping all the wear items fresh, and really keeping components replaced on there so that we can basically optimize our feed quality. And you look at this may look like a tiny little piece of feed for you, but it's actually a piece of corn. And our goal with our machine is to create every piece to a uniform size with this. And as active as the cows seem right now, they're actually a relatively consistent body. Some of us would say, you know, maybe they're a little boring in what they do, but they want the same thing day in and day out. So the more consistent that feed quality is as far as particle size, the happier they're going to be and the better production they're going to be putting out. So really for us and all of our people within the dealership, we're working with these dairies to really help optimize that. We're putting up the highest quality feed possible, meaning consistent cut quality and giving them the feed that them and their nutritionists and veterinarians want to keep the cows happy and producing the way they should.
Right. So it's more than just selling the equipment and servicing the equipment. It's looking into how we're processing that feed, goes well beyond that service and sales, which is really neat. And you can stay tuned for further episodes of Leap Forward where we're going to dive into those forage harvesters and explore a little bit what some of those settings are and how we make that impact. But I think it's safe to say that all of us at Riesterer Schnell are very proud to look at a pile of feed like this, Todd, and say that we had a major impact on probably 50% of this diet and what's going through the cow and how it's helping producers produce the milk that they produce.
Definitely.
So that's what we're proud of, and we want to thank dairy farmers for that today. All right, so Todd, one of the things we were talking about is dairy producers, but what about Wisconsin dairy producers in particular?
Yeah, a huge passion of us working with our dairy customers out there is their attention to detail and, trying to put up the best feed for the cows, the cow comfort, having these clean, quiet barns and, a good, healthy environment for the animals to be raised in, which in the end produces great, high-quality milk with high butter fat and high protein. And, that might sound a little foreign to a lot of people, but essentially the higher protein and higher butter fat that's in that milk, the better that milk is for the cheese and butter to be made. And Wisconsin is definitely one of those high cheese producing states. And thank you to our Wisconsin dairymen and women for making that high quality milk to give us those products for us.
Exactly, no doubt. Most of the milk in Wisconsin is used in cheese making, so that protein content super important. What's your favorite kind of cheese, Todd?
Oh, that's a tough one, but there is a smoked Gouda that I'm a real big fan of.
Nice, nice. So one thing we wanted to touch on, one of the ways that we are thanking the industry and thanking people involved is recognizing our youth and their projects with 4-H and FFA projects. Todd, you want to talk a little bit about our program there?
Yeah, so any of the youth that are involved in the 4-H or FFA programs, they're all able to apply for a scholarship through us. The scholarships will then be reviewed and we'll end up giving out hundreds of scholarships to the youth involved in the agriculture.
That's awesome. And how would I apply for that scholarship? I go online?
You can go online to access our form, or if you stop in at any of our stores, all of our stores also have those forms at the front desk available for the youth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So look into that if you have youth involved in 4-H and FFA. It's our way to give back to the industry and say thank you. With that, thank you for joining us on Leap Forward today. The last thing we'd like to do is bring in Kip Grotegut from Grotegut Dairy Farms. We're going to do a little toast.
Yes.
Just like the normal toast you do, right, Kip?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Kip, you play a big role today. You are representing all the dairy farmers that we work with at Riesterer Schnell within our marketing area. So you got a big weight to carry today for us. But we want to offer you our sincerest thank you for being a part of the dairy industry and for what you do on a day-to-day basis. Here we are in June, and we're going to do a milk toast. So cheers to the dairy farmers.
Cheers. You got to open that, Chad.
Yeah, I do. With that, thank you for joining us in this episode of Leap Forward with Riesterer Schnell for our June Dairy Month episode. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.
Cheers.
We're your John Deere dealer coming through for you, Riesterer and Schnell.